Australia, and obviously the only South African you know there is David Payne, and you and him struck it off. You won a couple of good ones.
Yeah, I went to his work. Well, this is a different David to what I'm used to, coming from Somerset with your 60 boxes. He was down to, I think he had about 25 boxes, and he was doing a lot of work himself. You don't have grooms, you have staff, and they're expensive, I'd take what he had to go through for the last 5 years before I got there. He must have done it so tough. I think he was relieved as I was to have him. I think he was to have someone in to ride work, because you had one or two people and you had to get through 25 horses. It was impossible to work all your horses, and so I think we both were relieved to see each other, and we worked very hard together, and we started my first ride he gave me, my first meeting on a Saturday, which is a Metro, the biggest meeting like in Sydney, the Saturday Metro, and he gave me a ride. It was, I think, 6-1, and it won a short head. And, we just went from there and had a lot of success. I carried on, like, we using him as my main stable. So we had a lot of success in the time I was there before I went to Hong Kong.
So there, you were based in Sydney to start, and that's obviously Randwick. The track manager at Randwick's a South African. We used to have him as the track manager at Randwick. You know him?
Yeah, he's been there recently and just come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you had your first Group 1 in Australia, Nom de Jeu. He was a pretty good horse, this horse. Tell us a bit about him.
He's a very good horse. I was very lucky to get on him. I was obviously riding for David, and at the time, at the time when the fields come out, he had the favourite for the race, a horse called Guillotine. And the Guillotine was a very good horse, but he disappointed the run before. And David said, I think Huey Bowman, who was one of the leading riders here, the jockey for Winks recently, he was on him. And he said, I think Huey might want to bail off this horse because he was disappointing. He's been offered other rides. Just keep, if he doesn't ride it, you can ride it. And I'd done very well when I got there. I was probably not going to, it would have been hard to get a good ride in the Derby. So I said, I'll be on standby, no worries. But in my heart, I knew he was the favourite. There's no way he's going to get off it. But I said I'll be on standby. And I got a call from Murray Baker, from a guy from New Zealand. I'd never heard of him. And he said, I've got a horse there in the Derby. You want to come is that Randwick? You want to come and work? And you're looking for a jock. And I said, yeah. I went and worked him. And it was probably 60-1 at the time. And it was pouring with rain. It was a bog track. And we were working on, and we were going to race on a really heavy track. And I worked him, and he just floated through the ground. And I come back, and I said, you haven't got no one for this horse yet? No, I said, I'll ride him. I hadn't even spoken to David. I know David from the past, so I didn't know how he was going to take it. He didn't give me the ride, but I think he was being such a gentleman to sort of put me in the picture. And now I'm going to tell him, I'm not in the picture, I'm taking this. So, I took the ride, and the owner was a very, very big gambler, and he had a massive bet on the horse apparently at 60-1. It started, I think, 14-1 from 60s, and he won the Derby. So I was very, very lucky to the way I got on him, yeah.
So what type of present did he give you? As gamblers, they give good presents. Did you get a Rolex or something?
I got, when I was relating it, converting it to the rand, it was quite a substantial amount. It paid for my road trip fines that I built up during the few months.
Every penny helps, eh?
All right, so then, Jeff, let's go to Hong Kong. And how did you end up getting to Hong Kong? Did they invite you there, or did you have a job with a stable, or were you a non-retained jockey?
Yeah, I was actually trying to get in. I always regretted never going back from my first stint. When I was offered to go back, and I did, because I was single, and I just come off a good time, I explained earlier, and so I didn't go back. And I tried to go back a couple of years prior to when I did go back, when I was in South Africa, and they just denied me every year. I think I was in my 40s at the time, and Felix was there, but he'd been there with Silent Witness, and I thought I might get in because he was 2 years older than me, but obviously Felix had been there for a long, long time, and they denied me every time I applied. I just got denied. And when I came to Sydney, and I was here in my first season. I was only here for 3/4 of the season and finished third on the Sydney jockey log. I got a call from them and they invited me. So I was so I think, a lot of Hong Kong is run by Australians. A lot of South African jockeys get in, and it's really a lot of South Africans and Australians. And yet, I couldn't get in from South Africa. But when I come to Sydney and had a success in the Derby, I was given the call up to come, which I obviously took.
Well, they obviously thought you were Australian, because when you applied from South Africa, they said, you're not having one of those bushies arriving here anymore. They'd had enough of Felix and Basil and and Barty and all, and Kevin Shea. So they decided, no, we'll get an Australian jockey. They saw this guy third on the list. They thought, well, we'll try him. And how was it there? I see you won a big race. What was that?
You found a good horse there, Jeff. What was his name? Abel Friend, was it?
Abel won.
Abel won. That was him. Yeah, he was a machine.
Abel, so he was a favourite the year before, and broke down. He had a hip. He fractured his hip or something. Had an operation, and came back the next year at 9 years old, and I won on him 66-1, and the owner was about 94, and I was 50. It was the old age home. We all come together.
Listen, there's guys out here riding that are over your age, so maybe you can come back to South Africa and ride again, You retire in Australia, come back here. Your son's going to need some help.
I'm trying to make a comeback.
Yeah, your son's going to need some help anyway. He needs someone to ride work with him.
Who's that?
Your son, Jaden's going to need some help. So he might as well have you riding upsides to him.
Yeah, he's going around all day. He's fine now. He's on his own now.
So Jeff, then obviously, the trauma that no one ever expects, the stroke that you had, talk us through it. What actually happened?
Well, it's funny. I was riding on the Saturday and got on an unraced 2-year-old in the Parade Ring, and as I got on, as you get on these 2-year-olds, as I leaned on his back, I had a small saddle. He just took off and bolted. And I didn't have my pin yarns, and I fell off the back. And not aware, I had to get off because I broke my finger, and I was a bit dazed from it. So I got off on the day, but not aware that I'd torn an artery to the brain during that incident, and I suffered terrible headaches that night and dizzinesses, and I just thought I've obviously done something to my spine or my neck, and I went, the next day I was riding out at Sunny Coast, which is Sunshine Coast, it's a 2-hour drive, and Nicola said, no, you can't, you're not feeling well. I said, no, I'll be fine, just give me a couple of headache pills, a couple of Sonatos, and off I went. I drove the 2 hours there, unaware that what had happened to me, and I was getting on my first horse, and as I stood up, I was sitting on the bench, and as I stood up, when they called us to get on, I just got a dizzy spell, like when you get up too quick, and I just thought, it'll go in a few seconds. I just got up too quick, and it never went, so it just got worse. So I had to call the doctor and say, look, something's wrong, I can't ride. And I got off. The doctor said, what's wrong? I said, I don't know. I had a fall yesterday, obviously something's not right. And he said, well, don't go. I'll check you later in the day. I said, nah, yeah. Okay, mate. Anyway, I got in the car. I didn't want to hang around. I want to get home. Drove 2 hours home, and went to my chiropractor, and I said, look, obviously something's not good. And as I lay down, the same thing happened. It's funny. He said, no, that's not normal. I'll go until you have an MRI. And I thought, well, okay, I'll have it. I thought it's probably nothing major, but I'd rather be safe. And the MRI scan that showed that I'd torn an artery to the brain. And when they told me you've had a stroke, I was like, what? Because besides headache and dizziness, but it got worse. But once obviously they took me straight to ICU, and I spent 3 weeks in ICU. That's how it all materialised. It came out of nowhere.
Did they actually have to cut your skull open and to do some surgery?
No, nothing. No, he just said, look, if you survive the next, I think it was 48 hours. He said the problem is we got to thin your blood out very quickly, to prevent you from clotting.
Yeah.
If you can get through before it starts, well, you should be okay. So the next 8 hours was important, and luckily I didn't have another stroke. Otherwise, it would have been, the real bad ones. And then I was just monitoring and going on Wolverine, and now I'm on blood thinners, not so severe, just to keep my blood thin. And I've torn the other artery on the other side somewhere, because I go back every year for a checkup, and he said, you've done the same to the other side now. So I've actually torn both arteries on both sides. It's like a road map, but it manages to get to the brain somehow. I said to my wife, I've never used my brain much, so there's not much damage done.
Well, it never got your eyes facing the right direction, your brain, so it obviously wasn't used very much.
Gav, how long were you out for? How long from the time it started? How long were you out for? It was over a year or 2 years, wasn't it?
I was out. Geez, what's that ringing bell? Sounds like the church.
No.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, that when you had that stroke, how long were you off for?
I was off for 14 months.
Oh, that's over a year.
Yeah.
Did you ever think then that?
Over a year.
Did you think then that might be the end of your career and you should actually call it a day, or what was driving you to get back in the saddle? You weren't a young man.
Yeah, I was in an age where most jockeys would have been retired. So when it happened, I said to myself, "Well, that's the way the man upstairs is telling me, look, you're never going to retire. We're going to have to help you." And I was quite happy with it. I thought, well, maybe it's a good thing. I may be pushing myself too far, and I was quite happy. I took it and I accepted it. I think as best I could. Because I just thought there was no way back. The doctors had said there's no way you can ride again. But I made a really good recovery. After about six months, I could start feeling my balance was coming back. My headaches weren't as severe. My hearing was better because I had very sensitive hearing. And things started coming back to shape. And I was walking and swimming a lot and trying to keep myself fit as I could. And your body sort of tells you, you sort of know. And I had no bad turns for a couple of months and decided, no, I'm going to go ride work one morning. I just woke up at 3 o'clock one morning, said, Nick, I'm going to go work off my, off your head. Now I'm going to go. I went and rode work, and I honestly felt like I hadn't even stopped. My balance was good, and it was just a matter of convincing other people to put me on, because nobody was keen. They all said, oh, you're mad, but yeah, I was quite convinced I was a go.
And then obviously you teamed up with Toby Edmonds and found Hudson, who was a flying machine.
Yeah, Toby was when I fell off that horse, it was I was riding for a lady here called Gillian Heinrichs, and her horses are known to be naughty, and being a lady trainer, she's very kind to her horses, and a lot of them are very fresh. And I thought, on my comeback, I don't really want to ride these 2-year-olds that are going to be bucking and jumping around. I want to. And Toby's more of a educator. He educates it. He's slow with his horses, and I didn't have much to do with him before that. I went in Sydney for him when I was first to ride, but otherwise nothing. But I said to him, look, I want to come ride some work. He said, yeah, if you want to give me a couple of rides, that's fine. And he sort of went from there, but he got stronger and stronger, and his swing it went from 40 horses to probably 100, and he just took off, and we've had 4 great seasons. Yeah, he's been great to me.
Gav, Toby, you guys had such a good relationship. Who would you rate him? Who would you compare him with to, like somebody in South Africa in your youth as a trainer? As a trainer, I would probably say a trainer that takes time with his 2-year-olds, like a Mike Bass, that takes his time with 2-year-olds. Never in much of a hurry. He probably hasn't got the complete laid-back attitude that Mike has got, but he's easy. I found him very easy to ride for. And it's hard to compare trainers, but if anything, I'll probably say more than Mike Bass way, taking his time with horses,
which I enjoy too.
Yeah, a good trainer, yeah.
You know, Jeff, unfortunately, we're out of time, but I just would like to sum up the latter part of your career was probably the best part of your career, winning the premierships, breaking all these records. You came back and did things people never ever thought were able. Would you like to just encapsulate, what that's all about to you and what that meant to you and why you came to the decision to call it a day now?
Yeah, look, Queensland, we got back and we always decided we were going to move to Queensland. And when I got back from Hong Kong, I said, let's go here. And we came here, we bought a before we went to Hong Kong, and we came back here and obviously rode for Toby. And the 4 seasons that I won obviously was not expected. I won't say I didn't expect it. I wouldn't have come back unless I thought I was capable of riding well. But I probably shocked myself. And I honestly believe I rode better in my last 4 years than I've been in my whole career. As far as tactics go, and you've got to change your way of thinking when you ride in Australia. And it still takes time to adapt the way they ride very differently to South Africa and a lot of places in the world. So I don't know. I just felt like my last 4 years, a lot came together, and it was a miracle in my eyes, the way things just unfolded. And breaking the record 2 seasons ago, the record here, I broke it. I think the record was 104 and 138, and won the Australian Metro, which I was shocked myself. It just kept rolling. It just got better and better and stronger and stronger. I was saying myself, like, it shouldn't be happening, but it did. And I had great support in Queensland, but that's due to having success, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, you've been an inspiration to a lot of young jockeys. You've been a friend of a lot of South Africans, a lot of people all over the world. I'm pleased to include you as one of my friends. And I'd like to just finish by saying that I think that your most endearing quality, apart from being able to being a really good jockey, was that you're an honest person. You get on and you ride people's horses. You tell them exactly what you think about them. And you've been honest to yourself and honest to a lot of other people. And I think that that's one of the most wonderful qualities in a man. And Jeff, we salute you and thank you so much for coming and spending some time with us. And, all the best to you in your future and your kids with their riding careers. And a long and happy life we may wish you.
Thank you.
Good one, Jeff. You're a good one, Jeff. You're a legend. You're a legend.
You're a legend. Thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your holiday, Jeff.
Thanks so much.